Alright, I'll try again. Alright, we're trying this again. So, hi guys. I am here to do lovely Lorraine's nails. That's better. And I've just done primers on her. So I've just done a standard no-lift primer, which is just your classic acid primer. It's what's been around forever. It will dehydrate and microscopically etch the nail. So I've done that, and then I went ahead and used a sticky primer on top, which is a Fix-It, and that gives it this matte look. You want to give your sticky primers about a minute to dry. There's a piece of fuzz in there. And there's a little piece of pink left from her last nails that I did not get off. She had stuff on this nail. Okay. And then I'm using X-Bond right now. So just going to apply X-Bond on her natural nail here. And my form here is overlapping a bit. So what I'm going to do is open it and kind of readjust. I want to make sure that they're not overlapping, because that tells me that the nail is going to come straight out and not slope down at an angle. So go ahead and put that in, please.
Someone asked a question.
Hi, Joyce. Just go up. Fear after you put on top gloss on wouldn't break the seal and lift stuff right. No, Jolene. So Jolene asked if filing the free edge after I put it on the top gloss, wouldn't it break the seal and cause lifting and separating? And no, that is typically not a problem. I shorten and file the free edge on every single nail every single time. So if that was a problem, then my clients would not be happy and come back after a month. So someone said there's no sound. Is the sound up now? Are you guys hearing that? Let's see if I can check it. Can I get a sound check, guys? Okay, so my first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use a layer of Enhance. You can use Enhance Clear or Enhance Pink. I just don't have any clear in my drawer. I've only got pink right now, so I'm going to go ahead and use Enhance Pink. And I'm going to create her tip. Just going to go a little bit up on the nail. And this is what my lovely friend Madeline calls the skillet. This one is going to be a stiletto because she braids hair. And so this is going to be her little tool. So I'm just going to bring this in. And the rest of them are going to be coffin shapes. So I'm going to kind of try to mimic what the shape is going to be. I'm going to try not to build too much. Now with my thumb, see how it's all messed up? I had built this too thick for the thinness that I ended up filing my thumb, which is why it's not perfect. And my plan was to put more foil on there, and I just never got around to it. And Lorraine's laughing at me. So I'm just pulling this down. Is this going to be about the right length?
Yeah.
Okay. She's so excited right now, you guys. So cute.
I'm so excited.
Nail day. So I just want to make sure that that form is tucked in what nail she does have. So push that down. And I do always, someone was like, you always go out farther than the nail. Absolutely. If you don't and you go to file and you end up with it being too short, that's kind of a nightmare. You've got to go and put form on and re-sculpt it out on the sides, and that's not fun.
Cindy said, Jess, are you not going to Vegas?
No, I'm not going to Vegas. I am home for a hot minute, and I'm happy for it. I don't travel again until I leave on our big Christmas vacation that I've been planning for like a year. So I am home. I've had like a whole weekend at home, which was really exciting last weekend. Although I did spend it on the computer the whole time. Just checking in the form there. I spent it on the computer the whole time because I'm trying to get everyone's headshots and certificates sent out. And I needed to get the website updated, and yeah, so I'm still doing a lot of stuff, but I'm home doing it in pajamas, which is really exciting, except for my daughter's soccer game. So no, not going to Vegas, and I won't be going to Vegas next year either, so at least that's not my plan. I grew up in Vegas, people. I do not find the need to go there all the time. I'll go for the Nail Pro show in June because that's where we've got some competitions, and I'm gonna try to compete a little bit more again this next year because it's kind of fun. And after Madeline's training, I'm like, I want to go see if I can do better. So very excited. All right, so I've just got a thin amount. This is basically just a tip, okay? So what I've just created is a tip but you're not gluing something on that is uncomfortable for your client. You're not dealing with glue and pinching and all of that stuff that comes with gluing tips on. But I've basically sculptured out her tips. Okay, go and put that in. Make sure I look like a movie star. You are a movie star. It's that hair, girlfriend. Cindy has amazing hair. Alright, so again, pulling this out. I know that they're doing a masquerade though at that in Vegas, and I do have a really awesome mask I made years ago for a masquerade. So this gel's a little bit runny, and there was a gap right there between the form and the finger, and I don't want it to be running underneath the nail, so I'm going to have her freeze that. Go ahead on in. So if with that gap, I don't want the gel to keep going underneath it while I'm doing the rest of the nails. So if we just freeze it for a few seconds, it's not going to continue to go into this gap. See, there's a little gap right there. So it will help prevent any funkiness as the nail grows out. I don't want a big ridge. Most of these I cut, but that one I didn't cut quite enough, and it's fine. That'll be no problem. So again, pinkies are going to be stilettos, so I want to just pinch that in just right so that we've got a good stiletto shape so that she can have a tool. I allow a tool in this situation when it's braiding hair. She's just parting hair with it. I'm okay with that. You're allowed. Oh, wait, let me do your thumb. Yeah, not cutting boxes. Cutting boxes I don't know that I'd be super happy with. So this one, see how there's so much nail up there? I'm going to bring it all the way up there because there's a bunch missing. I want to make sure I can file this and shape it correctly. If you hear any background noise, my apologies. We have Twilight on in the other room, the last one. So, all right. So she is channeling her inner Christian today. So we are doing red bottoms. And you can only really do this with a full set. There's not really a great way to do it with a fill. So with a full set, you can give them some red bottoms. So there's a couple of choices. You can use vintage from the Luxio line. This is classic red from the options line. It's just like a perfect cream red. You always want to give it a little bit of a stir if it hasn't been used in a little while. I haven't used this in a few weeks. It's just a really, really nice cream red. And vintage works also, but this one, see how nice the coverage is? And the other reason I like to use the options colors for this is because there's extra strength. So there is more strength with an options color, more flexibility, than there is with a Luxio color. So this just adds a little bit of strength. And we're going to be completely applying product and color over the top, so I'm not worried about how it looks up here because it's going to be covered. If anything shows, it's just going to be around the cuticle when we do some kind of fade or something. But this area is just going to be completely covered, so we can just cover it up. And it's just a quick coat. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. You just want to get this on there so that she's got her red bottoms. If you want the red to really be super bright, you could always do red and then white, and it will make it so that your red isn't translucent at all. What color are we doing over the top of this?
Maybe purple.
Purple. All right, so purple's not really going to change the red a lot. So depending on what you do over the top, I might have done like a red, because you can see that it is a little bit translucent. If you can see the form lines through the gel, it's going to cure. So you can add a little bit more if you need to. I want to make sure that this one's got a good amount of flexibility. It's going to be built up a little bit more than the other ones because it's going to have a little bit different shape with it being a stiletto. So I'm going to get enough on there. All right, go. No one's saying anything. Is anyone here with us? I know, they're quiet. Maybe they don't want to see the video. Maybe we should turn it off.
3 people left.
Because it's quiet. Alright, so brushing on red. Classic red. Good morning, Megan. How are you girls out there at your little shop?
I was driving.
Huh?
Aubrey said I was driving.
Oh. Hi, Aubrey. Well, driving and watching a video probably isn't ideal to do at the same time. All right, so just quickly doing this. So there's a couple of different builders that you can use for building a new set. A lot of people get confused by Akzentz just because there's so many options, choices. I shouldn't say options because this is called options. So many choices of what you can use. So I'm going to try to help show you guys what I use typically for this long kind of a nail full set and why. And you can take it or leave it, but at least you can see why. You've seen me use the structure. No, I just used enhance. All right, so that's good. Hi, Beth. Busy, busy, busy. Okay, so I've just used enhance to create the tip, and then I went ahead and used the classic red. So this was my first two steps. Now I'm going to build her nail out. So when I'm building a long extension like this, I go ahead and just grab structure, which, as you can tell, does not self-level in the pot at all. The reason I do this is because I can build the entire nail, for the most part, with one giant obscene amount of gel. So I'm going to grab a huge ball and roll it onto the nail. And then I'm just going to push it into place. I'm not going to do a bunch onto the cuticle because if you put a ton of product on there, it's going to be a big, huge pain because you are playing with the cuticle area and you don't want it. So obviously, I was exaggerating a little bit when I grabbed this massive. Look how much gel that is. It's crazy. So just grab it and take it off. We definitely don't need that much. But I just wanted to show you guys that it just doesn't move. So I'm just going to float this on a little bit. This might not be the one that I'm using if I want a completely crystal clear set of nails without any bubbles at all, because as soon as you start moving this, you might create little tiny bubbles just like you get with any other stiff gel. But as you can see, you have an arch in here already with that, and the structure of the nail for the most part is totally built out. All I have to do is add around the cuticle. Now I want to Beth, you're so funny. Beth just said a very funny comment on Facebook Live. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you should add me on Facebook so that you can join us on Facebook Live, because sometimes the comments are hilarious. Okay, so just going to play with that just a little bit. I don't need to play with it much. That's the biggest problem with gels, is that people play with it too much. So again, I'm just going to grab a big giant blob, roll it off onto the nail, and this time I don't know that I even grabbed quite enough, so we're going to see. But it's easier to just grab a bunch and put it back than it is to keep grabbing more. I want to make sure that I have a good arch in the middle of the nail. That's what's going to keep the nails from breaking. If you have gels that are breaking, your nails are too flat. That's kind of the #1 rule. If you're doing something like a 30-day manicure, it's meant to be flat, but you have to balance that with the flexibility of your color. So there's a difference in how you can structure the 30-day manicure from a full sculptured nail like this. So I'm just using the very tip of my brush. See how I'm just lightly touching it and dragging it around. This information is really for Lorraine because she is learning to do nails. And I said, do you want me to video it so you can come back and see how I did your nails? She's like, yeah. So we're going to upload this for Lorraine. All right. So next, huge ball. So big, big, big amount. So if you were to try to do this with enhance, it would just flatten really quickly. You could do it with balance. So if you are, you prefer balance, you totally can do it. It's harder for me to grab quite as much with balance as I do with structure. And so I just grab a big, huge honking amount with structure. And that way I can literally structure the entire nail in one shot. And it just is a time saver. Again, if I was doing like completely crystal clear nails and I wanted 0 bubbles, I would have to use something that's a bit more runny that didn't create bubbles as easily. But in this situation, salon nails that are going to be covered with color, it does not matter, girls. So don't, well, girls and boys, maybe Q's watching. Hi, Q and Ty. We had some awesome boys at nail camp this year. All right. I'm not forgetting any, right? Q, Ty, Jarrett. Our 3 boys. That's it. Next year there's going to be lots of boys because at the nail cruise we already have tons of women that are like, my husband's so excited. So lots of women that are coming on the nail cruise, the nail camp to Hawaii. We'll be bringing husbands. So if you want to come, bring your husband, you can. Make a vacation of it. It's a write-off, so hey, it's always nice to have a tax write-off that's nails and vacation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the nail camp that I put on every year, I am taking to sea next year. So we are doing a 10-day cruise. And the reason I chose that one is because it allows you 5 days at sea in a row. And we have reserved a dining room that doesn't get used during the day. It's only used at night. And I did this with Vicky when she put this cruise on quite a few years ago. But it's great because we have until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to do nail camp. So all the ways that we do nail camp now, which is a lot like college, you get to choose kind of the demos that you're going to see or the classes that you're going to see. We're running it the exact same way, but on a cruise ship. So you get 1 extra class more than we did at nail camp this year because we have 5 days. But it's going to be really fun. What? How do you keep the brush clean? Or bring your best friend when your husband hates cruises? Abso-freaking-lutely. And really, come on, if your husband hates cruises, you don't want him anyway. You want to have fun. So we reserved a ton of 4-bed cabins so we can make it as cheap as possible for people. And literally, that means that you can come, if you're able to sign up before the 4-bed cabins are sold out, you can come with 3 of your friends. And each of you are only going to pay like $12.60, and that's total. So normally on a cruise you have taxes and fees and gratuities. And gratuities, if you go to search for a cruise online, they'll give you the taxes and fees, but they're not going to include the gratuities when you go and try to find how much the cruise is going to cost you. This one includes the gratuities, so you don't have any additional fees unless you have things that you want to do. But for $1,260, you can come. And I'm working out some flight information, some group flights to possibly LA the day after the cruise lands in Honolulu so that we can get a little bit cheaper fare on that flight. But I was just looking at flights with some people from Calgary, and holy cow, you can do both your flight from Calgary to Vancouver and from Honolulu back to Calgary for less than $400. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's unheard of. So there's some really good flight deals now. So get your friends together. Excuse me. Get your friends together and figure out making it work, because there's, like I said, only so many of the 4-bed cabins. Now you can always just go with 2 people, and then it's, you know, a little bit more obviously, but I wanted to make it as cheap as possible for people that just want to come with girlfriends and you don't care about 4 in a cabin because it's kind of fun. All right, so once I get gel on all 5, once I know I have enough, I kind of check them from the side a little bit. Looking at this from the side, is there enough of an arch right here? Do I really want to have to come back later and add a ton more to that spot when I can just grab a little ball and drop it into place? Now I created a big bubble doing that, so sometimes it's worth it to wait until you do the next step because I use a gel that doesn't leave bubbles quite so easily. But I definitely need more of an arch there because I know this girl and I know the strength that her nails will require. She's smiling. All right, so I'm gonna build a little bit more of an arch on these when I do the last bit. So she knows the routine of going in and out, so I'm gonna go ahead and let her control that. But as it starts to get warm, coming out before it gets too warm is really helpful. So, and if it starts to get warm, that's when you can also squeeze. So if you want to squeeze a C-curve into the nails or add pinching clips, which is super fun to do. You can wait until it's really started curing, a good 10 seconds in the light, and then add some clips, which maybe I'm gonna do. Do you want me to pinch your nails?
Yeah.
She does. Hold on, please. Let me get them out.
Sometimes it hurts.
I know. That's why I'm asking if you want it.
But it's worth it.
Here we go. I found them. Alright, so, give me the other hand. So if this has started curing, where it's not going to smash in, and I don't use these super often, and sometimes they get gel on them and then they get old and then they break, so I try to make them really affordable. And this is going to help pinch the nails as it continues to cure and give you a good shape. I need one more. I must have broke that one in that set.
Please hold.
Please hold. I need to grab another clip. Okay, so I have two kinds of pinching clips available at Love Nails. I have these ones, and then I also have these ones that Amy Becker introduced me to, and they are a little bit kinder when they pinch, right? They're not quite as tight. Is it sliding? I think it's sliding a little bit.
Switch.
There we go. Oh, hello. Yeah, maybe I'll just use this one. These are a little bit tighter, and they stay a little better. Okay, so she can go in and keep curing that, and I will continue to build on this. No, these are actual, well, hi Rhonda. Tatiana asked, are these actual clip pinchers for this purpose? I don't believe that the people who made them for this purpose. They probably made them for some kind of office use or something, but I searched high and low to find them because I wanted clear pinchers that would allow light to still go through them. So there's different ones out there. There's some metal ones that people use as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted something that was clear because I wanted to make sure that the light could continue to cure through. But you guys can get them from all different sources. But it works well for getting a good pinch in. Can you feel it?
No, it doesn't hurt this time.
Yeah, we pinched a little bit late. I think we were talking about it a little bit more during the ideal pinch time. When we do this hand, I'll pinch it a little sooner maybe. I don't want them to be different though, so we'll see. So adding more, because see I didn't have enough on my brush at the beginning, is a little bit more of a pain than just having a ton and being able to roll it off really quickly. Big bubble there. I don't like big bubbles. I don't really care about little tiny micro bubbles, but that one is kind of big. It's because I added more product, and that's always bigger when you add more product. Okay, I have to stop playing with it. So again, the biggest problem people have with gel is they play with it too much. So you have to kind of restrain yourself from wanting to make it perfect, because the point of gel is to just get it on there and file it into shape when you're doing a new set. You can look at videos and pictures of the fabulous Amy Becker, and they're a hot mess before they get done, and you think, oh my gosh, are those going to look good when they're done? And they do. But it will take you so much more time if you try to make your gel get on the nail perfectly when you're going to finish file it anyway. I mean, if it was a 30-day manicure and I'm not finished filing, of course I don't care. I'll take a little bit more time and make sure that it's perfectly smooth. But on a full set, I'm going to be finished filing. So gel files really easy and really fast. There's no point to just play with it for way too long. You're just going to be wasting time. And time is money, because you can't get as many clients in if you don't spend enough time. Okay, you got 5 nails, girlfriend. Just tried going away. Okay, read those to me so I can do your nails.
Little piece of my heart says fundraiser and go, but we are trying to figure out moving/life.
Oh, tell me about it.
Within the year, maybe. Life change within the year, maybe.
Yeah, I understand. Ours, most of you guys know about my lovely shop situation. If you don't, I just built my salon and shop in the last year. And they have sold the building and they're going to demolish it all. So we are trying to get a piece of land. We found the land. We've been able to fundraise a lot of the down payment, which has been awesome. But we are having a hard time getting a loan for the land because we spent all of last year building this place. So banks look at us and go, "Psh, you don't make any income?" It's like, no, because we spent it all on the new shop. So it's becoming a bit of a struggle to get to that point. But we're not going to give up. We're keep trying, and hopefully this land doesn't sell before we have a chance to make it happen. All right, so I'm done with structure. So now I'm going to use, I'm going to take her clips off this one. Let's see if we got a little bit, we got a little bit of a pinch in there, so that's good. And the other ones are starting to cure. Go ahead and come over. So this time, if you check it and you go to touch it and it's hard, see how it's already hard? And she was already getting a little bit warm because she came out of the light and...
As soon as I put it in there.
Oh, okay, so check that out. So this is what happens when it's not cured enough to pinch. Love it. That whole nail just came right off. So be careful. Oh, this one is too. So be careful that you don't pinch too early because that will happen. So now I get to redo the gel on those. That's awesome. I don't think that's ever happened to me before. I got too excited. That was cool. Okay. Let's put that on there again. That was cool. I've done it where I can kind of see like a little bit like, oh, I can kind of see that maybe that spot, maybe right there, wasn't quite cured enough to pinch, but I've never had it the whole thing just come right off. That's special. It had not cured all the way through. It had only cured a little bit on the surface, enough for me to think, oh, it's cured enough for me to put a clip on. But nope. Okay, that's funny. So that's a good example of what not to do. Wait until your gel's been curing a little longer so you can clip it. And if it was like a really thin layer of enhance, that probably would have been plenty. But because I've built the entire nail out of this, it had not cured all the way through yet. So I'm gonna have to give that a little more time next time.
It only happens when you go live.
Right? It's true.
Meg said, that's nuts.
That was nuts. That was funny. That is special. Do you want to keep those nails, Lorraine?
Yeah.
You want to keep these? Those are crazy.
You can look at your application.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So now we're going to just do the cuticle shape. So I've built enough onto the product, onto the tip now that I can take these off. Just be really careful that when you take your forms off, you push it on the sides so that you don't go cracking anything. So push it on the sides and then pull down. She's feeling a little warmth this time. Okay, so now I can see what I'm working with. Now I just have to do the cuticle and any fill-in work. So there's two options. I can go back to using Enhanced Pink, but I probably would end up only doing 2 nails and then switching hands, and I just want to do the whole hand. So I'm going to go ahead and use Balance, which is the middle viscosity gel. So this is the 3rd gel that I'm using. You can build the entire nail out of one. You can build the entire nail out of any of these. You definitely don't have to have all 3, but for just the way that I like to do it, I just like different viscosities. And so this one is a little bit thicker than your Enhance, but definitely thinner than the Structure. So I'm going to roll it off, and I'm just going to push it up around the cuticle just like you were doing a fill, and then glide over the nail. That's it. And you can look at the nail from the side and see if there's any low spots, and look at it from down the barrel, see if there's any low spots that you need, and if not, then you can just go to the next nail. Roll it off in the center, push around the cuticle. You don't need it to be in the cuticle. You want to make sure you have a gap where you can file and smooth out the nail around the cuticle, and that's where your color is going to fall. So you don't have to get all the way in the cuticle. I know as new techs, Lorraine, you guys want to get way back there, and that's not with this product. You want to focus your color getting back there, but not necessarily. Dee Dee, my dear, you're going to have to call me later, because I'm using my phone. That was the lovely Dee. Someone tell Dee Dee that she needs to come inside the live video and talk to me. She needs to talk. So I'm just pushing it around the cuticle and making sure that it's where I want it. Check the sides. If you need some more of an arch somewhere, once you've covered the whole nail with a slick layer, you can drizzle a bit on, and that'll start to melt into the rest of the nail. It doesn't melt as quickly or as completely as Enhance would, because this one is not as self-leveling as Enhance, but it'll get the product where you need it so that you can file, or that you can do this. Just the very tip of your brush if you just need to feather it and get it where you need it. You cured that all the way before we got to clip it, didn't you? No, take it out.
I did.
This is what happens when you get distracted. It's alright. I don't think there was a huge pinch going on these anyway, because we had cured them a bit much to begin with. And they're salon nails, guys. Like, I don't pinch full sets on salon nails often. If it's a competition set, obviously you're going to pinch like crazy. If someone has really, really flat nails, I'm going to pinch like crazy. Most of this is all going to be product, and I made sure that I had a good pinch on the form. So they're all going to have a very good C-curve just from the form application. So it's not as big a deal to pinch. It's not required. Okay, there's enough on that. Go ahead on in, my friend. And then we get to file all this bad boy. And what are we doing? We're doing a fade. What color? Purple?
Give me a second.
She's thinking about it. Y'all should tell Lorraine what she should do on her nails.
No sparkles.
Who are you?
I know sparkles makes everything better, but I'm not feeling sparkly.
She's not feeling sparkly today. I don't know that some of these nail techs would understand that statement very well. So this seems like it needs a bit more of a pinch, but it is solid, so it's gonna have to remain exactly as it is. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Heather said good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Heather. Is it afternoon already? It's morning here. Yes, these are Louboutins on the bottom. I don't have any of those shoes. I hear they're pretty nice.
They hurt.
They hurt. All heels on my feet hurt. Me and heels are not friends. If you see me wearing heels, you better find me a chair, because I'm probably about to sit down. They're 10-minute shoes for me. And they're for walking into a restaurant and looking cute and sitting down and walking out of the restaurant and getting into the cab or the car.
Hey.
Hi, Jolene. So I needed a little bit more around the cuticle in this. I could tell from the line of light that there wasn't enough of the cuticle and I wasn't going to get a nice shape. It was going to do kind of a scoop down, and I don't want it to scoop down just like right here. I want to make sure that I have product to smooth out and file, but you don't need it all the way back into the cuticle. This is our stiletto. So if this was a brand new client, you would want to either be flash curing them and turning the light on and off, or just instructing them to come out before it gets warm. Lorraine's not new. She just has been in nail school, so she's had to have no nails because she has to practice on herself.
It's tragic.
It is tragic. But she is my client who wears her nails the longest, and I don't have very many that wear them this long. So people ask me all the time, oh my gosh, you do a lot of long nails? No, I don't. I would say 90% of my clients wear them at active or fingertip length. So there's about 10% that are all friends with Lorraine. Or from that line of succession that have longer nails for the most part. It's the same crowd of girls.
My sisters were getting really long. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, she ain't breaking them, so if you don't break them, I'll let you have them longer.
But they were really long.
They were really long. She ain't breaking them. If you don't break them, I'll let you keep going. I'm mean. I'm a mean nail tech. If my clients come in and they're always breaking their nails, I will require them to be a little bit shorter. They need to be, if I know that I'm building enough of a structure that they should withstand normal life or even a little bit of brutality, and they're still breaking, then you're being way too brutal and your life needs to be a little bit less crazy. So, yes, Lindsay wears them shorter. Lindsay actually wears them a little bit longer than a lot of my clients. Lindsay, lovely Lindsay Hauschka. We miss her husband on the Seahawks big time. He moved over to the Bills. So sad. So I'm just using some alcohol-based nail prep, wiping off the tacky layer. And then I'm going to get rid of some of this length. So this is my new beautiful Mani Pro Passport Phantom. Love it. And I'm just going to do some base stuff. So if you're new to using an e-file and you're like, oh, I don't want to do everything with an e-file, this kind of stuff is what you want to start with. It's just a lot of the excess that you don't need because it's not so scary. Most of what I'm going to do is hand filing, but this extraness. So she's going to wear them coffin shape. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this on the sides here so that I know where I want to file in general. So I'm just going to be taking those off a bit.
Thank you, Sierra.
Yeah, you guys got a winning kick last week. Thank you to lovely Steven. Our guy keeps missing. Silly decisions they make. Who do we play this weekend?
I didn't look. I just saw the time.
You didn't look. Are you going?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go. I need to get you to get us some tickets. I'll pay you for them. I just need them. So you guys go on the suite, huh? If you can put in tickets like a week before, typically. That's what Nina used to do. Alright, Heather. See you later. Have a good day. Yes, TGIF for sure. I can show you I'm happy it's the weekend. Doing game night tomorrow. A little fun fact about me and my husband, we are game nerds. We are. We like games that most people have never heard of. But they're really fun. So if you like to play games, there's some really fun ones we'll probably play this weekend. We like Pompeii. You throw people into the volcano. Yeah, you throw people in the volcano. Yeah, my mom really doesn't like to do that part because you'll draw a card and that card says you have to throw someone in the volcano, and she always feels so bad about throwing people in the volcano, and I'm like, Mom, just do it. Throw them in the volcano. It's fun. It's got kind of two parts to it. You do, you kind of build the city of Pompeii, which I've been to. It's very cool. Build the city of Pompeii, and then the volcano erupts in the second half, and everyone's trying to get out of the city, and lava starts rolling, and so people end up getting sucked down by lava, and the winner is the one who gets the most people out of the city. Oh. It's really fun. So we like Pompeii. It's not one you'll find like, you know, at Target or something. It's going to be something on Amazon or at a game store. But yeah, Pompeii is fun. We play Catan a lot. Jessica likes Catan too. We have game night tomorrow night if you want to come. I have to go shopping and cook. It's always cooking. No. Although he has a buddy that's here from Wisconsin. So I will not be surprised, and I will take a picture if suddenly he's cooking brats. Because it's what happens when he has people here from Wisconsin. It's just something he has to do. He's got to get the pot out and the beer and make brats. And I'm like, it's a Wisconsin thing, and I just like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. I do like a 7-layer dip and queso. I'll make the queso. Here's the best queso ever. It's the easiest thing. I'm telling you right now. Sorry we're like not talking about nails, but please feel free to ask questions and I'll talk more about nails.
She said yeah.
Beer brats, yeah. Oh, Carrie, you should have told him. He would have made you some when you were here. Remind me next year. He'll be happy to make you some beer brats. I forget what I was saying. Queso. Yeah, the queso. Yeah. So easiest queso ever is just rotel, which is like tomato and green chilies cut up. It's in the canned aisle with all the tomatoes and stuff. So a can of rotel, like 8 or 16 ounces of Velveeta. I'm not sure which. I'd have to look it up. I mean, really, you can't go wrong with adding 16. So if you want to do 16, you can always do 16. And then a can of Hormel no bean chili. That's it. Stick it all in a crock pot, put it on, and it's so good. It's so good. Everyone loves it. So good. It's like the best, easiest party food on the planet. Alright. So we're almost done with my beginning of filing. This is kind of like just getting the main shape into place. so that I can continue on. And thank you, Carrie, for all your hard work when you were here helping. Carrie's from Kansas. She comes out for the retreat every year. She never missed a single year, which is awesome. And she always stays and helps. We lost our helpers that I thought were going to be there all day. And so the last day we were there loading up and packing up till after 6. So she was awesome in coming to help. Rockstar Carrie. She doesn't even move here. Carrie used to move here. So I'm looking down the barrel just to see if there's a lot of bulk somewhere in particular, because I'm going to go from this and hand file. So I'm just checking this one. There's not a ton of bulk. So if there's not a ton of bulk, your hand filing is going to go really quickly. So some people do all of their filing with an e-file. I am not one of those people. I need to do it, my finished filing with a hand file to get it how I want it. Don't break your stilettos.
I won't.
Okay. You would be missing a tool. She's excited about her tool. So I'm just getting some of the bulk out of this. And this one doesn't have a lot of bulk. That one does not. And just has a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and finish file this. I'll do one hand on here because I know that I'm going to dump some dust. I know that some like to see my file schedule. So I'm going to take a new file. Good morning, Debbie. I'm glad you like your nails. Okay, can you name any educators who do all their finished filing with an e-file? No. I don't believe so. Most of the educators I know, we all will do it with a hand file, but I'm sure there's some out there that are just e-file maniacs and they can do it all. I think, like Greg Sallow, for Young Nails, he's always at shows and stuff, and I think he does almost everything with a e-file, but I could be wrong. I don't get to hang out and watch him a whole lot, but I try to stop by and say hi. I went and trained with him, oh my goodness, like over 10 years ago at his place before Young Nails was really how Young Nails is now. So with your stilettos, you want to make sure that you are bringing it straight in from the side. See how I'm holding the side of the nail here, bring it straight in, and then I'm going to hold the side of the nail here and bring it straight down, and that way you can get a nice sleek thing. And then going in a circular pattern over the nail to keep your shape from getting all square because you want it to maintain rounded. And then around the cuticle. The first time I did a stiletto, the very, very first time, I was at the training class with Svetlana from Edmonton, and I put this long stiletto on her, and I had not done them before. This was 2007, 8, 9, something like that. And it was sharper than this. It was longer than this. It was like long. And I went to go wipe it at the end, and I was wiping it like this, and I stabbed the stiletto right in my hand, drew blood. That was a sharp stiletto. I was like, oh, was fun. So good memory. I love Svetlana. She's awesome. She did. There is a picture floating around of her at dinner with like food in her stiletto because she was using it for a fork. It was pretty funny. She was like, I'm going to pick up my chicken. It was not the entire dinner. Don't freak out. It was just a joke. All right, so I'm working sidewalls first, making sure these are coming down. You know, when you work a coffin nail, you're basically trying to do a cutoff stiletto. So you want to make sure that you're coming straight down. If you're doing a ballerina, it's a little bit more rounded. But this is a coffin, which is meant to be more like a stiletto. So I'm working on in the middle. And then once I have the bulk of it down, then make sure you come over the top and round the surface of the nail so that you've got a nice shape onto the nail. Then I'm going to come up around the cuticle. The last thing I'm going to touch is the center here, which is your arch. You don't want to go crazy getting your arch messed up. You want to do it last because you don't know how flat your arch needs to be until you've filed the rest of the nail. So that is the last thing that you'll do. So then you can look at it from the side and go, okay, this has a good shape, good arch, so I don't need to flatten it more. Just going to make sure that everything is correct. Look down the barrel. This is a little bit lower, so I'm just going to bring that side up just a little bit. I'm looking like this. When I look down the edge, I'm looking to see that one side's not much lower than the other. And that's so I can make sure that my sides are coming out the same. All right, so I will... Greg rarely uses a handful. Yeah, he does. It's true. Hi, Katrina. Full set of stilettos. Oh, when was the last time I've done a full set of stilettos? A long time. I would say I would have to book out a good 2.5 hours for a full set of stilettos or anything of this length with the design. This appointment, we've got about 2 hours to do it. And then we're doing our toes. So you just kind of have to gauge how long it takes you. There's no right or wrong. Some educators take longer. Some nail techs take longer. I mean, we talk to amazing educators and they'll take 2 to 3 hours for a full set. So that's totally fine. You just need to price it right. You don't want to dread doing a full set because you make half per hour from what you make if you're doing fills. So make sure you're pricing your price per minute equally across the board so you don't dread certain things. You know, I don't do any natural nails anymore. But when I was doing more natural nails, I'd be like, oh, I hate doing a manicure because you only make so much per 45 minutes and da-da-da-da-da. And it was just, my pricing wasn't even across the board. So you need to make sure that your pricing is consistent per minute so that everything's semi-equal and you don't feel like, okay, I don't want to do that. Toes typically are a little bit more per minute because it's harder on your body. And not everyone loves toes, so in order for people to want to do toes, I feel like you make it a little bit more per minute, and it's a little bit more encouragement to go, okay, I have more pedicures today. That's awesome. I get to make more per minute. So you can kind of look at that. Or, you know, the materials sometimes for pedicures cost more. It's got all the soaps and scrubs and stuff that you don't have when you're doing a nail appointment. But if you're doing nail, you got products to deal with nails too. So I don't know that the price difference is really all that off. So the stiletto I'm keeping long, but I will start measuring these to try to get them consistent. And what I'm looking at is from cuticle to tip. They should look about the same, which they do. This may be a hair longer, but you want to hold them together, and these three should be equal. So once I do this one, I'll hold it up, and it's a little bit, this one's a little bit short, so bring them all down just a hair. so that when you line them up, they should be relatively equal. If you're in competition, they need to be exactly equal. So again, I'm going to look from the side and see that my arch is in the right place where I want it. And check that this is coming straight out. You should have your sidewalls coming straight out. Read that.
One time you mentioned to me the 7 angles you check when shaping a nail. Can you review them?
The 7 angles. They had 7, huh? I didn't know that I had a list. All right, so there's more now because I have had training from the amazing Madeline Wolf, and I look at nails so different now than I did before that. But I always look at the side, front, side. I'm going to look around the cuticle here and check that all of these are equal shape, so that you don't have some that are a lot flatter and some that are a lot lower. Look down the barrel. This is how I get my free edge thinned out. And if you glide on the nail instead of, if you bounce and you're doing it like this, not only are you taking 10 times longer, you're creating divots in the nail every time you bounce. You're creating another line. If you glide on the nail lightly, your file is going to pick up anything that's high, and you're going to get a completely smooth surface without having to work so hard at it. So learn to glide. So, and then, yeah, so sidewalls, looking down the barrel, I want to see that one side isn't lower than the other, and that all of these, there's no notches. So if I hadn't put the product out far enough, then you could end up with notches. So you want to make sure that you're checking that out. And then the arch. So this is a nice strong arch on there. And I want to make sure they're all about the same shape. So this one is high right here. So I'm going to go through and just smooth that down so I can try to bring about the same shape as the other one. There we go. It's a little better. And this arch is a little bit high compared to the others. So I'm going to just smooth that out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filing all of her nails. If you guys would like to see me do her design, send us a little message and I will flip the camera back on.
One more question.
Yes.
Do you fix notches with more structure gel or just top it?
If I had a big notch in the side, I would have to stick a form back on there and put some more either structure, balance, or enhance, anything like that. Any of those builder gels, you're going to need to build it a little bit more, because if you don't, I don't think the top gloss is going to be quite enough to solve that. All right, so I'm checking the shape that they are. When you look at each one, this one had been a little bit more square. So when you're working with a coffin nail, you've got to kind of check nail to nail to nail that they are a similar shape. You don't want to have some that are totally straight and some that are totally different. So check each one. This one can come in a little bit. Okay, they all come in about the same shape, so that's good. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, and then we will come back. Hi, Suki. We'll come back a little bit later if you guys want to see her design work. Bye.